Hi, welcome back to Quarter Life Conversations. Sean, what is our podcast about, bro? For those that don't know.
Yeah, so our podcast is really just kind of trying to talk to our generation, really just kind of break down the challenges we're navigating currently in terms of job markets, shrinking job markets, the new factor of AI, and just trying to find a path towards success and finding a meaningful a path to a meaningful life in today's day and age with so many different factors at play.
We're looking at like everything, right? Not just work. We're looking at like life in general, right?
We want to touch on faith,
yes,
love, relationships in this modern day and age. Obviously jobs, friendships, and just really everything. Kind of just document our journey and the learnings that we are kind of experiencing as we go. And obviously we're not experts or anything like that, but
no, definitely not.
But we do want to just share our journeys, and maybe if you can extract any value or relate to us in any sort of way, then it would be obviously great. So that's kind of really where we want our thought process behind starting this pod. And I guess today we touched on it a little bit in the first episode, but we kind of wanted to do a bit more of like a deeper look into jobs and the job market nowadays, and just navigating this world that our generation has to go in. I guess maybe we can start off with like a little background as in like our educational background and our age, just to kind of just show where exactly we are with our careers.
Sharing our private details online. So I mean, I'm basically doing my master's right now. Master's in architecture. And I'm graduating this summer. What about you?
So me, I did my bachelor in Lancaster. I did business management, and it's within that I kind of found that my passion was for marketing and digital marketing and the sort. So I went on to pursue a master's in digital marketing in the Uni of Manchester. After that I had a agency job. I tried my hand at a few personal projects, etc. And so now I'm currently at a state where I'm looking for the next agency job to kind of level up my experience, and obviously we're trying to see if we can build and gain traction on this podcast and kind of document our journey in this process as well. You're also going to be soon entering the job market and obviously starting that whole process. You've already started, right? Applications
a little bit. So that would be we're gonna be talking a bit more about how do we stand out in a saturated job market in this day and age. We'll definitely touch on that. So our podcast, like I guess that's part of like what we're trying to do is we're trying to test it out, like test the waters, like in this new age. Like we think that building something online is like I think we think that it's something like everybody should try. I think it's definitely the future, I think. So I think this podcast is part of it. And I think we kind of want to talk a bit about like what we learned as well, like from doing our first video.
100%.
It was really fun actually to film that video. I mean, what did you learn? Like for me, I learned that like, I keep stuttering, bro. And like the filler words, like, is crazy, bro. And I don't know why I keep like looking around. Like I couldn't look in one place, but it was funny to like record it. But what did you I know you like it was quite difficult for you to edit and things like that.
So like watching back the footage, you just, unless you watch footage of yourself, you don't realize how much we use filler words, bro. like etc. And it's just, I guess moving forward, just naturally doing this, I'm sure we'll become smoother.
We're gonna try in this episode.
So I was trying to cut, because we're just learning and we're trying to figure all of this out. So I was looking at editing the first podcast we ever done and cut up shorts, and majority of the shorts ended up being like.
Dude, yeah.
And just to a point where it's impossible to even cut around that because there's so many likes.
Yeah, my bad, bro.
But yeah, I guess that's just part of the learning curve, and I guess that's what's good about this podcast, because we just want to be transparent and real, and this is like a real journey. And you can kind of join us along this and witness firsthand how we start and the mistakes. And if you relate, or if you find value in anything we say, or just kind of want to follow along for the ride, it would be great if you could join us on this journey, and just kind of see where we can take this. And obviously we can't take it anywhere without anybody kind of coming on board and supporting. So any support we'd really appreciate. And
I mean, and I think what we learned from the previous episode, like I think for this episode and maybe like future episodes, we actually kind of want to keep it more structured, to prevent us from going off topic too much, I think.
100%.
And also we kind of want to keep it a bit more grounded as well, like so I think this episode we're gonna try to bring out some quotes, and so that we're not just like so we're also like taking into account like what other people are saying, so you don't have to just believe us. But I think it'll also be good for us to like talk about what we think about like what other people are saying as well.
100%.
From coming from our generation, like our perspective.
100%. Agree completely.
So I think maybe we can start. So like I said, like our topic today is how do we stand out in like today's saturated market? Like last week we talked about AI, right? So how do we stand out? And I've got a quote here by this fellow Justin Ladner. He's a US economist, and he's basically describing the 2026 job market as, quote, a frozen labor market characterized by slow hiring, slow quitting, and a low level of layoffs. So I mean, obviously, like we're not from the US. I mean maybe we sound like we're from the US, I'm not sure, but like we're not from the US. So like do you think that statement is applicable to like here in the UK or anywhere else that you've experienced?
100%. There's so much truth in that statement. So it talks about slow hiring. We'll break that down first. So
slow hiring.
The majority of my days nowadays is broken up into going into LinkedIn, these job boards, and finding jobs in marketing and kind of sending my applications out. Just nowadays I think it's become the norm for like companies to take, if they respond within a week, that's something to be impressive. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's how long the duration you can expect now to even hear back. I have friends who they got that initial first touch point from the company, first point of contact, for example, in let's say December, and then the final point of their actual employment began in February, and between them radio silence between those points. Right. So it's just
it took them 2 months to reach out.
And that's for somebody that they actually wanted to hire. So it's super interesting. The whole hiring process nowadays is super slow, and it does make sense though, because like we are in a situation where there's such an oversaturation of talent and so few jobs. It makes sense logically why there would be such slow processing times, but it for sure it doesn't make it easier. That wait.
2 months is crazy though. Wait, and also just to clarify, this you're talking about in the UK, or where is this, like, or in general?
This is definitely, I would say it's a general trend. I have applied to jobs outside, but I would feel most confident saying this is about the UK because that's where I'm based. That's where I'm applying for the most jobs for. I do think in terms of the slow quitting as well, that's very, very interesting because I speak about it sometimes with my parents, etc., and there's very little incentive to actually quit your job nowadays, because it's like, if you quit
because you're scared, like you can't find a new one.
Exactly. It's there's so much there's such a lack of it becomes almost to the point where people rather just stay in their current job, even if there's no progression in terms of salary or responsibility or learning. They rather just stay there because it's safe and it's secure. And I guess that's always been the case, but now it's more amplified than ever because there really is such a lack of opportunity elsewhere. So it's like if somebody gets a job in a lower level marketing field, they would most likely just want to stay there and be like, yeah, in 5 years, 7 years time, I'll probably be able to get a more senior role, etc. But what that's doing is that's holding those lower level jobs, kind of, they're staying in those jobs and they're not, moving on to the next, and it's causing like a bottleneck because there's no roles, I guess, for newer entrants coming in. If that makes sense. So that's one factor, and I feel like all these different factors are coming into play, and that's why what's really causing this kind of this oversaturation, this really this job market that almost feels like the life is being suffocated out of it. I do want to touch on the point. I want to kind of ask your opinion on it in terms of the lower level of layoffs. Because do you feel like that is the case in your experience? I have slightly of a different experience. I kind of want to hear your thoughts on that.
So Shaun's mostly been applying in the UK and stuff, and before I did my masters, I was working in Hong Kong. So I think like that statement from The Economist, like I think generally it's quite true, but I think there's like some obviously caveats like based on where you're from. So I think Hong Kong, like at least from my experience, I think they're still more willing to hire, like from my experience. But I have noticed that actually there has been increasingly more layoffs though in Hong Kong. Actually, this is quite a big news like for like us architecture students. Like there was a really big architecture firm called Benoit in Hong Kong. It's like a global firm. They have offices in both Hong Kong and Shanghai. And I think it was like only 1 month ago they just suddenly I think they laid off everybody there. They just closed down those 2 studios, which is crazy. So like I don't know why, but I'm seeing increasing layoffs in Hong Kong. In terms of slow hiring, slow quitting, from my experience, I think Hong Kong is still hiring like at least better than what I've heard from you. But there's increasingly more layoffs though. So I'm not sure what to think about that. Like I don't know if it's like I'm not sure. Like I guess there's a difference between UK and Hong Kong, but I'm not sure why it's that way. But I guess also it could be different industries. I'm not sure, because architecture is an industry that's like it's quite dependent on the economy. So if the economy is doing bad, like usually you don't get as much like jobs.
That makes a lot of sense.
So I think maybe that's starting to happen in Hong Kong, and but what I do know about like architecture firms in the UK is that like the number of graduates graduating out of architecture schools is way too many, and like there's not enough positions to fill like that amount of graduates. So a lot of people they can't get into architecture firms, and they just end up doing something else, which is kind of a waste 100%. Not a waste, but like I guess it sucks that you can't do like the path you want to go to just because there's not enough vacancies. But then and like I guess part of the problem is like the universities, right? They just keep like having more and more graduates, right? And then I don't know, it just kind of like builds up this problem, I guess.
100%. It's almost like there's like it's like you have a funnel, and like the input is just becomes so much now, and it's just always trying to squeeze into these set restricted jobs. And it's just causing like a blockage. There's just no flow like as there was before, where you can start a job and kind of progress as you would Yeah, previously, but I do want to touch on that firm you mentioned in Hong Kong, because I think it's interesting, and it does tie into what I see with the UK, because I feel like the UK is showing similar trends, at least from what I've noticed.
More layoffs.
More layoffs. Yeah. So, just out of curiosity, do you know the reasoning behind those layoffs? Was it just general economy, not as much work?
I think, yeah, I don't know too much about the details, but I think, I would assume, they're not getting much work. Yeah, because they wouldn't just randomly like close down two studios, right? Both in Asia. 100%. So I think, I think it's got to be. Yeah, I think they must have been struggling to find work or something.
100%, like and I think that ties in. That ties into a very interesting point, because in the UK, I've noticed that, at least with people I know, I'll speak from my personal experience. Redundancy is real. Letting go of employees and stuff of people is real. Yeah. And it's largely due to the fact that these, at least in my industry, marketing, these agencies just aren't generating enough money because there aren't enough clients having enough spend available. Meaning what? Yeah. They're making less margins. It could be due to the economy. It could be due to, in the UK specifically, they have made some changes regarding taxation on businesses recently. I'm not too in depth up to date regarding the numbers and stuff, but I know they've upped it. And yeah, there's just overall, obviously the thresholds for salary sponsorships for foreign workers as well has been upped. Yeah, that's so it's just becoming a very tough economy for businesses, especially. And if businesses are the ones that create jobs, if it's becoming tough for them to operate and to have jobs, maintain their current level of jobs, not even like scale jobs, but just maintain their level of jobs, if it's becoming hard to do that, then you can understand why there's just this lack of jobs and this oversaturation of the market.
What do you think the reason is though? Like, what do you think the reason is that like these businesses are struggling?
I think it is like in part due to the economy, right? Everything, the cost of everything is rising. As I like mentioned, the taxation on these businesses. I think the government has recently made changes to this where they are taxing businesses more as well. And obviously the salary thresholds for sponsoring employees, and there's a number of different facts, but I think the key variable is that they're just not generating enough, at least in marketing, they're just not generating enough revenue because clients don't have enough disposable income to put into marketing, because their personal profits are dwindling due to the economy, etc. This is just my observation, my personal opinion on it, but I definitely do think these are all factors that are impacting why we are where we are. And also, lastly, of course, AI. AI is like one of the key factors in all of this, because I think it's behind a lot of these redundancies, because if you can, if you're a business owner and the economy is twisting and shrinking and it's becoming harder to make the profit margins you were previously, and you can minimize your costs, your labor costs, by implementing AI systems, why would you not? Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
You're I can't remember where I saw this quote. But yeah, it might have been the UN, but we'll fact check that. I'm not sure. But basically it was talking about how employers they're kind of waiting right now in this current economy. Like you said, right? It's not doing great. And because of AI, they're trying to see like what opportunities there are right now to use AI to allow them to not hire people. So they're kind of playing this waiting game. So they're not like actively recruiting people because of this. They're kind of waiting. So no, you're right. Like that definitely makes a difference. Like AI, like the uncertainty of AI as well. Like it's causing businesses to also kind of not try to recruit right away.
100%.
Which is bad for us, I guess. But I mean, and you touched on that also. Like you're saying, and the quote was saying like people are staying in their jobs longer, right? Because exactly, like the economy is bad, so they want that. Well, they want to have job security, I guess. So they're not 100%. Willing to jump ship anymore. So I think this could be an interesting segue. It's like, do you think job hopping is dead, or do you think it's still a viable strategy for like us?
Yeah, so I think we touched on this in the first one, but we'll go into more depth here. I think, yeah, my personal opinion is that job hopping is no longer a thing. Or, well, maybe we try to avoid speaking in absolutes, but
no longer a thing.
Yeah, maybe it's much rarer a thing now, because as we
mentioned, is that a
mentioned,
good thing or a bad thing? You think, like, that it's no longer a thing?
I don't think that I necessarily attach a good or bad to it. I think it's just reality to me. So it becomes a question of how to maximize your reality.
Yeah.
In terms of whether job hopping is a thing or not anymore. I think it just comes down to comparing like the paths of people we know that found success in life through climbing the corporate ladder, etc., and then seeing if that applies in our current state. Because the people I know personally that have climbed to the top echelons of success in their career and achievements, they were able to navigate, they were able to move from one job to the other, even move from one industry to another, and kind of find their niche through working jobs, develop different skills in one industry, move to the next, develop different skills in one company, move to the next, and that fluidity and that ability to take leaps and move was what able to propel them forward, and negotiate higher salaries, etc., rather than work maybe 5 years in one company and then be able to be like, can I have a salary raise? But nowadays, I don't even know if that's possible, because just with the lack of jobs in itself, it would be like, how would you jump from one job to the other if it's so saturated, and entry level jobs are now they're requesting 3 to 5 years for entry level jobs, or at least entry level paid jobs. It's tough in that sense. And also nowadays, I don't think it's really super feasible to or it's not super easy to even jump industries, because I'll speak from my personal experience. I was in one specific vertical of marketing in my previous agency, and I am in a different vertical. I was in one vertical in my previous agency, and I would like to expand into a different vertical currently to kind of develop my skills overall. And it's not super easy, because agencies come and they expect you to have experience in the direct service vertical off the rip. They expect you to have like super technical skills and knowledge and case studies that really only you would have if you have direct experience in that one vertical. So I think it's not even super easy to kind of switch industries or even sub verticals within the same industry. I do believe that job hopping nowadays is it's not super viable in my opinion, and that's why I personally kind of land on the notion that maybe the strategy nowadays is to land a job and, as we were saying, have it be a secure source of income consistently, and then try to build something of your own online, etc. Because I feel like the old road may not be super applicable anymore, and maybe it's just a case of adapting to the times. But I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, to be honest.
No, I definitely agree. I think like I mean, we live in a digital AI age, right? And like previous strategies may not work anymore, but we need to capitalize on what is available and what previous generations don't have. And I think building an online presence, like from what we talked about, I think like that is the way to go, because like online, I think I talked to my parents like about doing something online, like whether it's like post like content creation or something like that. And I think like, and they were like, so you're trying to be like an influencer then. But I think like that's kind of what a lot of people still think like starting something online means. So it's like, okay, you're just gonna be a YouTuber or influencer.
Yeah.
But like, I think we're starting to see like so many different ways you could actually do something online. That's not just about like being an influencer or whatever. I think there's so many more opportunities now, to do something online and to and also being online is like you're kind of like having a wider access to potential people. So we definitely have to find some way to capitalize on that, I think.
And I do want to ask you one thing on that is, even if what you were doing online was classed as being an influencer, what really is the negative of that? Because if, like, let's say you're working under the assumption that you're trying to provide real value and just speak about your experiences and try to make as much as you can a positive impact to what you're doing. And if you're able to do that and actually garner some level of success, in my opinion, I really don't see a problem with being labeled an influencer.
Yeah,
it's like
they're definitely. I definitely don't. I definitely agree. I don't think there is anything wrong about being an influencer. I think what I mean is like, I think people, but when people think of the term influencer, they think it's got to be just like you recording yourself. It's like a vlog or it's just about like your daily life on camera. Yeah. But what I mean is like, I think there's so many more ways you could start like an online business, for example, online. 100%. And I think online is also like, once you maybe like you said, it's definitely about building that personal brand, I think. And I think social media now, I don't know if you would agree, because I mean you did digital marketing, right? But like, I think social media is the best form of marketing right now. 100%, like 100%. It has to be. And once you build that personal brand, like, then you can kind of start to pivot and do different things with that following.
100%.
And I think like for our listeners, maybe it's not about job hopping anymore, but build that online presence. Let people find you. I think it shouldn't be about you or us trying to find employers or like look for or wait for employers to give us opportunities, but rather we build up this presence and have them come to us. I think we need to build up and develop that value online and showcase it online. I think that's the biggest advantage we have. And I think many people still aren't doing that. I think many people are still doing it the old way. And I think the sooner we can kind of try to capitalize on this and like make the most out of it, and the earlier we do that, like the better it can be, I think. Because I definitely think like having something online is an investment, basically. It can only just like grow in value, I think
100%. By the way, Ioi is dropping gems right now because this is very real game. Because it's always a more powerful situation if you're able to generate inbound rather than having to outbound, right? Especially in this economy. So what I mean by that is, I was thinking previously how you can create a position where you're no longer having to outreach for business outreach. So I was thinking more outside of corporate and thinking more personal. And what came to my mind was the only vertical that came to my mind where you can grow something of your own and have inbound opportunities come to you naturally rather than you having to outbound is social media. Because you put yourself out there, if you're lucky enough or if you put enough valuable content out there, you garner reach, and then inbound opportunities come into you in the form of sponsorships, etc. But if you want to extrapolate this now to the career side, corporate side, if you put your content out on LinkedIn, you grow a following on LinkedIn talking about your field, your specialties, your skills, what in architecture, what like projects you worked on. Maybe you can garner a following, maybe you can garner reach. You never know who will come across your profile, and maybe somebody reaches out. Now that you said that, I remember that one of my friends was in the field of marketing, and she would post consistently every day, good posts, quality posts, carousels, etc. on LinkedIn. And that's actually how in this economy she secured a job. So there is real like validity to that.
And just to quickly build on
Yeah.
what you said, consistency, right?
Yeah.
Consistency is key, I think,
Yeah.
for building any sort of online content.
100%, 100%. And yeah, and just showing up and yeah, if worst case, you garner a following, and yeah, I mean, if you're able to put your work out there, you reach more people. And if you want to continue down the corporate and you get an opportunity, you get it. If you actually garner a following, significant following, and you want to go down your own personal path with that following, then you can choose to do that as well. But I really do think that a personal brand and social media presence is really important nowadays.
Yeah, I'm even trying to think of like downsides. Like I think like from what from our discussion, I genuinely think it is just like a good thing to do. Like I don't see. Do you think there's any downside like to like doing something like this? Like
I would caution, there are potential pitfalls in my opinion, whereas like if you should probably avoid talking negatively about past companies you've worked for, etc. There is like that layer that you have to operate with a bit of
be respectful,
intention, etc. Yeah, and obviously always try to kind of radiate or operate from a point of positivity. Obviously sometimes your truth, it won't always be like overtly positive, but just be conscious of that kind of stuff. But other than that, I really don't see any kind of negatives. I think it's you're putting yourself out there, and I do think a lot of people sometimes have a little bit of a fear to put themselves out there. I for sure had that, but I have been slightly testing out content previously, etc. But I want to ask you, Ioi, because I think maybe this podcast probably is like one of the first experiences you've had with content, being in front of a camera. So I'd like to know, like, did you have like any like anxiety coming in? Like, what is your experience about like once you start? Like, advice you can give someone who's nervous to take that first step, etc. Yeah.
I mean, I think like when we wanted to do the podcast, I mean, I was quite excited because like. I mean, mostly because like we resonated with that idea. Like we do think like having a digital presence is important. But also I was just excited to try something new. But I think there's definitely that like element of cringe, I guess, that I was like, damn, like what if this is cringe? And probably it is. But I think like I would say like go at your own pace. Like you don't have to like right away like show your face and stuff. Just do what you're comfortable with and just like build it up slowly. For me, like I was happy to just go ahead and jump right into it and try it. But for you, like if you want to take it at a slower pace, there's nothing wrong with that.
100%.
I think just putting yourself out there, I think it's just a good learning experience. Like I mean, we've learned so much just from filming that one episode.
100%.
And it's just you're just pushing yourself and trying new things, and there's no harm in doing that. I think it's a healthy thing to do. But yeah, so I think we would definitely encourage anyone listening to do that. And I guess maybe just to cap it all off, I kind of want to mention like what one of my tutors told me this. I don't know how true this is, but you could take it with a grain of salt. But he was basically saying, like when companies like put out vacancies, for example, he was telling me like within 1 week, like, or maybe even 1 day, like you already get like 2,000 applicants, and imagine that. And like in this current saturated market, like I really think this is no longer a very, it's one strategy, I think, but I think we definitely need to, it can't be the only strategy anymore. So having that online presence, trying to get employers to find you and not you finding them. So
100%.
I think that would be good.
And if anything, view it as a confidence builder, because putting yourself out there, speaking on camera, it forces you to get out of your head. You have to see yourself on camera a lot, and you have to hear yourself speak.
Yeah.
You have to hear all the likes,
all the stutters.
Yeah, and it's just good. It just teaches you to, like, it just toughens you up a little bit. And I think something that really helped us was from the get go. We said that we want to keep it authentic, and we just want to be ourselves and have fun.
Yeah.
Like, the second is we start feeling like we're putting on a face, or we're just not having like, this is essentially how we hang out in real life as well. We just sit and we have conversations about life and stuff. So we thought, actually, there's real, like, sometimes there's real value in what we say.
Not all the time. No.
Yeah. A lot of times there's not much value at all, but sometimes, very specific times, there's some value, and we're like, maybe we can put it out there, maybe somebody can relate or take something away from our conversations or our journey. So being authentic, definitely, or just being yourself, that's a big like stress reliever, and at least we found for ourselves. But I do want to talk, we've kind of talked about jobs, and I do we had a little set the scene. We had a little like a little note of like where we want to topics we kind of want to touch this. We're prepared this time. This podcast, and I do want to touch on one that Ioi noted, and it was the one of pursuing a passion versus pursuing a skill, if I didn't mess that up. But please take the lead on that one.
So I mean, it came from this book called So Good They Can't Ignore You by Cal Newport, which I read actually, and I think it really did change how I like viewed like finding a job. Because I think from the get-go, like, a lot of us are told like we should follow our passion, like do what you're interested in, and also like if you're interested in it, like you're more naturally gonna try to be good at it, for example, right? So I think a lot of us have been living in this like he calls it the passion hypothesis, that the most important thing when finding a job is to find something you like. But in the book, he kind of flips that around. He say, actually, that doesn't work. Actually, instead of looking for what you like, look for what you're good at, even if it's not what you like. So that was quite like, that was kind of like controversial, like, cause isn't that like counterintuitive advice? Like, why would I want to work at a job I don't like, even if I'm good at it, right? But basically in the book, he kind of cites like a lot of these successful people that a lot of us would think they have really good jobs, and he was kind of trying to define also like what most people think are good jobs, right? And really it kind of boils down to having the flexibility to own your time, and also, from what I remember, like being able to express yourself creatively. There might be more, but those are the ones I remember. And basically the whole thesis of the book was that if you're good at something, you create value, right? And he calls that like career capital. And basically you kind of want to accumulate career capital over your lifetime. And the more career capital you have, the more leverage you have to actually shape your job into something that you want. So I think he like mentioned some people, I don't remember exactly what, but they kind of started out doing something like that they didn't really enjoy, but then because they're good at it, then like they actually could negotiate with their employers, like for example, actually I kind of just want to work 4 days a week, and at first like they'd be like, what, no, you can't do that. But then because he or she was so valuable, they kind of had to let him or her do it, just because of that career capital that he or she built up. So basically he was trying to argue that like passion doesn't really matter, because if you're not that good at it, what really matters is the value you bring, and when you have value, you're able to leverage that and actually create the job you want. So what do you think about that? Like,
actually, before we go into my thoughts, I think it would be super interesting to hear your thoughts, because you read the book. Where do you fall? Because obviously sometimes not everything you read you necessarily have to agree with. So I'd be curious to hear what you think.
Well, I agreed with it 100%.
Interesting.
No,
okay.
but I agreed with most of what he said, and actually that's kind of how I've been trying to navigate my own like journey now. So and I kind of realized the hard truth actually before I even read the book was when I, and also obviously in this market right now, but finding my first job before I started uni again was quite tough, and I kind of realized like, to be honest, I don't really stand out like based on my qualifications. I mean, everybody has a uni degree now.
Yeah.
So I didn't have anything that stood out, and when I read the book, I kind of understood why. It's like I didn't have that leverage. I couldn't choose, right? So I kind of was only able to get the jobs I could get. I didn't have the luxury to choose. And since then, like I've been trying to, because I study architecture, so I've been trying to build up more experience to, I guess, like related to my skill set, and actually define a specialism, which we'll actually touch on later. But so for me personally, I've started to try to specialize in computational design and AI, and I've tried to get more experience doing internships and whatnot, and to try to build up that career capital, so that when people look at my CV, okay, so it's not just, okay, he has a degree like everybody else, but okay, he's also specializing in this specific thing. So I think we have to think of it. We have to think about the value that we're providing.
100%.
And I joined a bunch of competitions as well, and thankfully I was able to win a few, and I think like that definitely, again, like that increases that credibility. So I think it's always about like and I guess it's part of the narrative that you're trying to sell as well, like the value that you bring.
Yeah.
Like the value that you have that other people can't have, the value that you have that makes you irreplaceable, and that you have that leverage to kind of shape the job that you want. And that would be what I think.
Okay.
I would agree with mostly of what he says.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And I think this is a super good like thing to kind of show, because it's like I'll just come off the rip and say I actually disagree with that statement. But I think also it's super important to have like conversations where you don't necessarily align fully, but you can extract value from. I can extract value from what you say. You can extract value from what I say. We don't even have to come to a common ground. We can sit on two different sides with this, but it's like we can still have a respectful conversation and kind of. I think it's always a good practice.
And like by presenting different views, like you get to decide, like you get to decide what you think.
100%, yeah, 100%. I 100% agree with where you're coming from in terms of the value you provide. Ultimately, it comes down to the value you provide, because employers don't care about if you love your job. They care about what you can do for them, right? Where I draw a bit of concern is completely removing passion from it, because how I feel like you get to a point where you're good at something is that you had that underlying passion and enjoyment to even get to a point where you're good at it. You get what I'm saying? At least I'm speaking for myself, if I'm not interested in something, if I don't have a passion to do it and to find out ways to get better and improve, I don't think I'll reach a point where I'll be so skilled and so good that I can actually provide real value, etc., because I'll burn out. Like I don't enjoy it. The core service, the core thing itself, I don't enjoy. So I won't get to a point where I can actually be of real world value or set myself apart, because I feel like that passion or that enjoyment to do the task is what gets you there. And so I think in terms of getting to the point where you can even be valuable in that sense, I think passion and interest for the thing itself is needed to get you there. But let's work under the assumption you're naturally born with a skill set and you're really good at something, but you just don't enjoy it.
What's something you hate? Like, let's try to build up this scenario.
Let's see. Something I hate. Ice
skating.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
What if you're really, really good at ice skating, but maybe you just don't like it? I think he would kind of argue that if you're valuable at this could be something you could do.
Yeah.
And then maybe, by the way, he doesn't say like just because you're good at ice skating that means you'll be an ice skater. But he's trying to say that by working on those skills, you might be able to shape it into a job that you actually enjoy in the future. So it may not be being an ice skater.
Yeah.
But it would be building upon those foundational skills that you're good at. So
yeah. So that would work under the assumption that I'm really good at ice skating, and I keep working at ice skating until I have enough experience in ice skating I can mold it around a job. For me personally, where I would like say that for me just falls short is that I would burn out. Like even if I'm already naturally good at ice skating, just the repeated action of doing something I don't enjoy would cause me to burn out. And even like let's say even if you are in a position where you're naturally good and you have a very well-paying job for something you're good at but you don't enjoy it, people stay in those positions for a long time. But if you ask those people, are they happy and are they fulfilled, I don't know if their answer would be yes, just because they're getting monetarily compensated for their skill set. Because I don't know if that deeper yearning for like fulfillment and enjoyment in the work you do would be being hit.
But I think that's what I think the author would kind of say that because that's not actually the job that you want, right? Because it's not actually the monetary compensation. It's the flexibility that you're able to get for your free time to do things you want to do, and also that creative fulfillment. So maybe like because he cited examples of people that they were stuck in a job that they didn't necessarily like, but then because they're so good at this thing, they were able to pivot into something, or at least change their work circumstances to be something favorable that was able to hit those criteria. So then it wasn't just about the money though.
100%.
So
I think how I view it is just that I get what you're saying. Like you can get to a point where you can make the circumstances more favorable to you, right? I think the core thing is that how I would view is that you're miserable in the journey to that point where you can negotiate. And even when you negotiate, what exactly are you negotiating? You're negotiating more flexible time. What does that essentially mean? You're just negotiating less time doing something you actually don't enjoy. So you're still at the core doing something you don't enjoy, or you're trying to find ways around it, or moving this part here or there. You're trying to fix or remold something that at the core you don't enjoy. You get what I'm saying? So for me, I feel like that whole process I would find misery, and I wouldn't want to kind of even get to a point where I could negotiate that, and it's always interesting hearing different perspectives, because I do get where you're coming from, and I do get where the author's coming from. I think where I'm coming from more so is like I'd like to cite, like, this is just my personal from my personal life.
Bro's citing himself.
No, not at all. I'm citing something I read about Jeff Bezos, because he was very good, and I think he was in, if I'm not mistaken, either finance or tech. He was in one of the two, and he had a very well-paying job, and he was senior, and I'm assuming he was very good at it to be able to be in that position, right? Yeah. But he had this idea about starting an online shop where you can sell books, which I believe how Amazon started. Yeah. And he had this conviction, and he had this passion, and I believe, according to what I've done, again, I could be misstating a few facts here or there, but I think the general idea is intact, which is that he told his boss that he had this idea, and the boss told him it's a very good idea for someone who doesn't already have a job. But what Jeff Bezos did was that he said that he put himself in the frame of when he was 80, and he would at that point would have liked to look back at his life and minimize the amount of regrets he had, and he also said that our biggest regrets in life often come from things, acts of omission, means not doing something, rather than taking committed action towards something we want to try.
Okay, that's interesting.
So we regret less the things we wanted to try and maybe didn't work out, rather than
not
the
trying.
things that, we didn't try, that girl that we liked, that we never told her, etc. These things kind of play on us for a while, but if we do take acts of action and they don't work out, at least we know, right?
Yeah.
So that was his thought process. So he lent into his passion there. He left that job, and we obviously know what Amazon has become, right?
Yeah.
And who knows, like maybe his I'm struggled to think that his skill level at selling books online would have been at par with his skill level required in his IT or finance job, whatever the specific niche was. But all he had was passion, right? And look where it led him. So,
but I think I would actually argue it the other way around, though,
Yeah.
because you're saying like he specialized in IT and finance, right? Like, I think that played a big role in him starting that online thing, though, because of his knowledge and specialization in those things. And also, I think an important thing to caveat, anyway, from the author, because I don't want to misrepresent what he's saying, but he's not saying that we do away with passion, though.
Yeah.
He's just saying that we should focus on what we're good at first. Obviously, if you find something you're good at and you're passionate about, that's like a double win.
Yeah, yeah.
But if you had to choose, I think he would say choose the thing you're good at first. And I think maybe this might be an interesting example to cite as well, because he brought up this example of this person.
Yeah.
I think let's say like they specialized in, I don't remember, but like law, for example. And then I think like maybe like almost the end of her degree, she was like, you know what, I'm not like passionate about law. I'm passionate about music or something else, like radically different. And she dropped out. And then she started pursuing this thing, and she wasn't able to be successful in it because she never had prior experience in that new field, music or whatever. And so people didn't believe, like she didn't have value to offer that would make people want to choose her over other people that have studied music, for example, that have kind of accumulated this career capital. And so it's not that it's impossible for her to, obviously, if she was really passionate and she really worked really hard and she did end up being good, that's definitely possible. But it's a setback. She had put herself in a disadvantage right at the get-go. So I think, what do you think? What do you think about that?
No, that makes sense, and I do see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I think at the end of the day, like we'll probably sit on different sides of the fence with this one, which is totally fine. I see what you're saying. I presume you see what I'm saying. And obviously we can probably have middle ground where in an ideal world you find something you're passionate about, and that's what leads to you being good at it because you like it and you like to do it. So I kind of want to talk about, like, would you say you're passionate about architecture then?
I would say so. Like, I do enjoy architecture. Yeah. So I think maybe that did help me to feel motivated to join the competitions and stuff. But it's interesting. I guess like I was passionate about it, but when I did those things, I wasn't saying like, oh, I'm passionate about architecture, so I'm gonna do a competition. I was thinking very career capital oriented. I was thinking I need to build up skills or experience that set me apart. So I guess I think architecture, maybe it did work out for me. I wouldn't say it's my like dying passion, but of course it's something I enjoy. And maybe that's enough. It could just be something you enjoy. It doesn't have to be the thing that like you have to do, right? But something you enjoy, you're good at, then that would be good as well, I think. Yeah.
I read this book called Ikigai. Have you read it?
I think I've heard of it. It's a Japanese concept, I think.
Yeah. And like, again, don't quote me exactly, but at least I'll speak from what I took from it.
We'll fact check it.
Was that the essence of the word and the book was that when you have something that you wake up for and you look forward to in your day, that has a big impact on your overall enjoyment in life and your overall like basically how long you live and the quality of life you have.
Yeah.
When you're able to wake up every morning and you're excited for the day ahead, you are excited to go to work and work on what you're doing, and you have like that passion for something. That's just something that I value, I think, and I've definitely had experiences where I've worked in places where I wake up and it's like, oh, it's a job, and yeah, I'm probably getting compensated because I'm good at it, but it's a job. Like it's
the burnout.
Yeah, I just like it's not. I probably wouldn't if in an ideal world money was not a factor. I probably wouldn't want to be there, which is I think a very interesting like frame to kind of position what you're doing in life. And and I found things where especially in creating stuff and I guess growing this and growing stuff of our own, it's like that's something like I don't mind thinking about most times of the day, or like working on in my free time, etc., because I genuinely enjoy it. And I don't know, that's just my personal opinion. I think I fall on that side of the park.
I think that's true. I think maybe realistically, you do, if like this job that you're good at, but it genuinely just like you just don't want to be there. Maybe it isn't the right place. Yeah, so it definitely isn't a hard rule, I think. And I think I think our middle ground is the fact that like the thing that we can agree on is that you should just focus on thinking about the value, the career capital that you are able to build up, whether or not we do need to have passion for that could be up to you. But I think building up that career capital anyway 100% should be something we keep in mind.
100%. And it would be very good, obviously, always to have two different opposing views, and you kind of find where you land. Maybe you land somewhere in between, maybe you land more to one side, but it's always valuable to have conversations, and
that's kind of what this podcast is for, basically.
100%. I think that's a good kind of stopping point in terms of jobs, navigating jobs,
standing out in a saturated market.
100%.
So we started off like just kind of setting the scene, right? Like this saturated market, and then we kind of talked a bit about like strategies that maybe don't work anymore, like job hopping, and how we could maybe try to pivot. And we tried to come up with some strategies. So having a digital presence, and we talked about the idea of passion versus skills, like and at the end, like we kind of concluded that building that career capital is critical.
100%.
And so we've kind of I think hopefully these are some useful takeaways for us to try to think about how we can stand out right now in this in the saturated market. It's definitely not easy
100%.
Right now, but we hopefully it's helpful.
And this is kind of like where we are at right now as we go through our journey. Like we'll keep updating, and maybe some of the ideas we had now will change, maybe some won't. But I guess this is like the journey in real time, right? And so we always hope that you could take something of value from this. Just seeing us navigate our journey, because I'm sure we're all in similar journeys right now. We hope you enjoyed this. We appreciate you taking the time.
Taking the time with us.
And peace. Take care.
See you.